Hi everyone, so today I'm going to tell you what I look for when purchasing my first vacation rental home. My name is Betsy Ma. I'm a real estate investor and also a full-time school teacher. I'm so excited because I just purchased my first vacation home about 2 months ago. So when starting to look for a home for a vacation rental, you may think, obviously, okay, let's look at what draws people to a certain area. Maybe it's a beach town, maybe it's a mountain town, maybe it's near a national park. There has to be something that draws people to that area, obviously. But some other things to think about are the following, and I'd love to share them with you. First, you want to think about city favorability to having short-term vacation rentals. A lot of times there are city regulations or county regulations regarding short-term rentals that until you dig a little bit deeper, you're not aware of. So make sure you do that up front before wasting your time. We chose the city of 29 Palms because of the fact that they had just gone through a whole revamping process with their short-term rentals. And so we knew going into it that we weren't going to have to wait for them to rewrite the rules. We were originally looking at a few other nearby towns, but they also had put a moratorium on short-term rentals recently, and there was no kind of end in sight with that or plan forward. So we wanted to make sure that we kept our holding time on our property before we were able to rent it as slim as possible. You also want to consider the condition of the home and what it would take to get it up and running. When people look for a vacation rental home, they're usually looking for something nicer than their own home. So you want to make sure that it doesn't have any cracks, any flooring that's funky, nice cabinets, clean bathroom. You really want to make sure that all of those things are nice and clean for your guests. So that's why we chose for our first property a newly remodeled home, so that it would be clean and fresh for our guests. And we could know up front that we wouldn't have a lot of those capital expenditures because it was freshly remodeled. One of the things that we were looking to do is to self-manage our property. So we wanted to make sure that about once a month we could drive out there, check on the property, take inventory, replenish supplies if needed, but we wanted to rely on our local team. So we chose a house that was 2.5 hours or less from our home so that we could drive up there about once a month if needed. And I wanted to mention we wanted to self-manage for this first property so that we could learn the ins and outs of the business rather than outsourcing it, and also make sure that we could keep some of that profit for ourselves to give us more of a buffer starting out. So you also want to factor into your vacation rental home, what is the price of the home, what's your mortgage going to be, what are your taxes going to be, what is your insurance going to be, because not only do you need homeowners insurance, you're going to need, outside of Airbnb's liability protection, at least $1 million in liability protection apart from that for most cities. So for our home, the premium is about $2,000 a year. So you're going to want to factor that in, and you're going to have to pay that up front when you close on your property for the entire year, and that's factored into your escrow payments. You'll also want to take a look at the rates that you can get both as a short-term rental and a long-term rental. So one of the helpful tools for looking at rates for short-term rentals is AirDNA. On AirDNA, you can see the average daily rate for similar properties in your area. You can also see comps for different properties that are similar to yours and look at their profiles on Airbnb, VRBO, and so that helps get you a sense of the market, what you can expect each month. And I tend to have your average daily rate lower in budgeting and your occupancy rate lower in budgeting starting off, because you're going to need to build up that momentum as a host and build up their profile. And there's also ways to go about this where you don't have to pay for AirDNA's paid subscription. If you want to pay for 1 month like I did, that's helpful, and then you can just cancel it afterwards. But I found in analyzing deals for several months that if I just went on BiggerPockets website and I went to their calculators, they actually have a free calculator that is run by AirDNA, accessible for their members and for the general public. You don't have to pay anything to access it. As a long-term rental, you can look at a few different resources to kind of get a gauge of the market. For unfurnished properties, I would recommend Rentometer. It's just rentometer.com. You can get, I think, 5 lookups free before you have to actually pay for it. So that's a great resource starting out. You can also look at Furnish Finder for long-term stays that are furnished to kind of get a sense of, are there long-term stays that in your area? Is that, is it a lot of supply? What are they going for? And look at their calendars. Are they booked or not? You can also do this on Airbnb by filtering by 30 plus day stays, what people are, and you can kind of get a sense of what people are charging either by the month or by the week, if you want to have that to fall back on, because there might be something that happens where you're not able to manage, or where city regulations change. And so having your budget to where you can break even or make a little bit of profit as a furnished or long-term rental really is a good safety net. So I hope this was helpful in getting started looking for your first property as a vacation home rental. Let me know what you liked and what was helpful to you in the comments below, and just get out there and start analyzing deals. If you want to see more of these videos, be sure to like and subscribe.